Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts, those who want more out of life, those who want to do more, those who want to be more, those who love the thrill, the joy, and the connection of what these high performance engines bring into our lives. Because holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a great person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Man, today we're going to be talking about how multitasking makes you slower. And before you jump the gun, let me just say this. I used to call myself a professional multitasker. Like, man, coming from a construction management background, building high rises, coming from that industry, it was always about who could do the most with the time that they had. Right? Like we would brag about how much we could multitask and how much we could do. But man, I've analyzed that, right? And after spending many months with a bunch of tabs open on my computer that towards the end of the day, many of the tasks were started but didn't get finalized, I want to be the first one to say that multitasking 100% will make you slower. And it's okay to think otherwise. It's all right. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I used to think this too, right? But hopefully, by the end of today's episode, I can prove to you that it does make you slower, right? Because if you think that you're getting more done by juggling more tasks, then my friend, think again. Multitasking might be the reason why you're not moving forward, especially at the pace that you want to. And I get it. Like, look, in today's hustle culture, multitasking is often seen like as a badge of honor. Like people flex on that shit, right? People even put it on their freaking resumes. But as someone who balances their career, someone who balances family time, someone who balances personal time, someone who balances even time for personal growth, my plan today is to challenge that notion for you. Right? And we're going to cover the science behind multitasking, and I'm going to give you some real world examples. And then I'll share with you some strategies so that you can improve your focus and you can also improve your efficiency. So let's start. Let's get into the myth of multitasking, right? I feel like multitasking first became glorified probably and because of the tech industry, right? Or maybe even from corporate environments where efficiency was prioritized over quality. But our brains, they have limitations. Like the human brain isn't wired to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. Like neuroscience studies, they show that task switching, what it does is that burns more mental energy than focusing on one task at a time. And in fact, like there was this study that they were where they conducted where participants who multitask took way longer to complete tasks and made way more mistakes compared to those who focused on only a single task, right? And this was because every time that you switch your focus, it takes your brain about 15 minutes to really dial yourself back in on that task at hand, right? So every time that you switch up, you shut down your focus engine and you got to start it right back up. You got to warm it up, right? And so the cost of multitasking, it leads you to have decreased productivity. The research shows that multitasking reduces your productivity by up to 40%. It reduces that shit by up to 40%. That's a lot. And so every time that you switch tasks, what you do is that you create cognitive switching penalties for yourself. And what they do is that they eat up your time. Like as I was just describing, those cognitive switching penalties, they end up being at least 15 minutes. So every time you switch tasks, you shut off that engine and you got to restart it. And as you restart it, you got to warm it up. And those are your 15 minutes that you're killing. Like, look, have you ever had those work days when you're, man, like maybe this, like, give me an example of what's happened to me. Like, man, you're busy as fuck. You're responding to emails the entire time throughout the day. You're feeling like you're busy. At the same time, you're bouncing in and out, like back in between meetings. You're talking to people on the phone, and then to top it off, you're also trying to work on like an important project that day. And have you noticed that on those days, Even though you're busy as fuck, even though you feel like you've been hustling, you never really get much done. Like, has that, have you, I know you felt those days. And then you compare those days to when you actually time block your activities and when you end up getting more than double the work done in less the fucking time. Well, the reason for that is because it's all about quality versus quantity. Like when you multitask, it diminishes the quality of your work. And that divides, like what that all that does is that all that divides, excuse me, all that divided attention leads you to have superficial engagement with your tasks, right? Which when you have divided attention with your tasks, what it does is that it results in more errors, and then you're less creative because of that, because you're constantly switching, you're constantly here, you're constantly going in there, and you're not giving your mind fucking the time it needs to really focus on that single task. And getting less done in more time is exactly the opposite direction that we're trying to go here. It really is. Like if you're all about getting less done and taking more time, then go ahead, multitask your life away. But I know that you're not about that, right? So let's move away from that. Like think about it. Imagine you're at home. Imagine you're at home and like you're trying to split your attention between you're trying to work on like a project and you're trying to spend time with your loved ones. I've seen this, I've experienced this, and it happens all the time. Like we're trying to do things, we're trying to multitask, with quotation marks in the air, and so you're like, all right, I can do this, I can do both of them, right? And then what all it does is that it leads you to have poor outcomes in both areas. It really does. Like your family is gonna say, man, you're not truly present there. They're gonna be talking to you. You're gonna be like, oh, excuse me, what was it that you said? You're not gonna be present. You're really not. And then your work, what's gonna happen is gonna be filled with a bunch of mistakes. I've gone through this. I've done it, and I'm sure you've done it too. And analyze the situation. You're gonna see you're less focused on the people that's there, and you'll be creating more mistakes. And so multitasking, it's not the way to go. Like the psychological impact leads you to have increased stress, and ultimately you end up burning out. By constantly switching between your tasks, this leads you to have higher stress levels. And having higher stress levels is one of the foundational elements for burnout. And the fucked up thing about burnout is that you don't realize that you're burnt out until you're burnt out. And so this is why I'm trying to help you avoid it, right? Like the feeling of being overwhelmed by juggling too many tasks will take a toll on your mental health, on your mental well-being, right? I can speak from personal experience on this subject. Gone through multiple burnout multiple times, and I'm sure I'll probably go through more of them. I like to achieve a lot of things. I like to stay busy. I like to and this is why I'm always looking for productivity hacks that I can share with you, right? And so look, it's speaking from experience. Like I come from managing high rises, right? I'm a construction management background, and so I manage large, complex projects, right? And then in those projects, it's a fucking must. They're all deadline oriented. It's a high stress, deadline oriented job, and it's a must that you stay on top of your deadlines, right? And so then you mix that with your personal commitments in life, and if you're not effective with your time, you end up feeling exhausted and you end up feeling less productive, even though you're working these long ass hours, right? And what it does is that it leads to reduced satisfaction with your line of work. You start hating yourself because you're like, fuck, I'm working all this fucking hours and I'm barely getting anything done. And all my other areas of my life, I feel like they're falling apart. Well, when you multitask, it makes you feel like you're always busy, but you're never truly accomplishing anything meaningful. Like, do this enough, and all it leads is for you to have decreased job satisfaction and life satisfaction. Excuse me, decreased life satisfaction in both areas. The more you multitask, the more you're going to see that is the more it's going to take you longer to do the things that you need to do. And you're going to have decreased satisfaction in both your job and in your life, right? And so you want to be productive and you want to be effective with your time, like not busy and unproductive, my friend. Don't fall into the fucking trap. Multitaskers end the day feeling unfulfilled despite having a lot of activity. Because doing a lot and not getting anything done, it fucking sucks. Even if you do a lot and you get a little bit done, it still fucking sucks. That progress sucks. That's not a high performance way of living, a way of being, right? Like it's super stressful and honestly quite fucking annoying. Like what you want to do is you want to maximize your time so that you can do more with less time. This is where one of the best strategies that I have put into play comes in to creating single tasking success. Time blocking. Right, I talk about this a lot. I talked about this shit. Like, like I feel like I just talked about this, right? But when you do it right, it really becomes a thing that will help you do more work, but work less hours. And who doesn't want that? You could accomplish way more work and work less hours. It's a fucking win-win. Like, time blocking is a powerful tool for you to prioritize and to really focus on one task at a time. Like, when you dedicate specific time blocks to a single task, you increase your productivity and you improve your work quality. Like, time blocking, like, you want to be able to time block your most important activities. And typically, what seems to work best for most people is to arrange your workday to really attack the most important things first in the morning, right? Kind of like eating the frog. I just explained this on the last episode, right? If you missed it, make sure you go listen to that episode. It's called Eating the Frog, right? But by dedicating yourself to deep work on your critical projects first thing on in the morning, you get more accomplished because your mind is fresh. Like, then like, what you do is then once that time block is done, you can move to activities that require less brain power. Things like responding to emails, or maybe for you it's different, but use the time block and the morning to really knock out the important things, the things that need more brain power, because that's when your mind is fresh. You don't want to do the things that need a lot of brain power towards the afternoon or towards when you don't have no energy, because you're going to be foggy. You're not going to want to do it, right? And so staying mindful in the moment helps big time too, right? Like, I encourage you to practice mindfulness so you can stay present and focused on the task at hand. Like, do things like that this works. Like, have like a cycle of deep breathing, or even like a little short meditation before you switch tasks. Before you go from one another, this will help you like realign yourself. This will give you like a little reset, especially deep breaths. You like, and I'm talking about deep breaths like from your belly. Like, if you're not breathing out, but you're able to see your belly going in and out, those are deep breaths. You don't want deep. You don't want to have shallow breathing. You want to have deep breathing. So you want to get all that old air out of your stomach, get new air into it, so you can get refocused, right? And I know that every time I do this, man, if I take 5 minutes before an important meeting to really practice some deep breathing and really to set my intention on how I want to be fully present in this meeting, things go way better, substantially better, right? This is why I'm recommending it. Another thing that I'm going to recommend is for you to go like and have a digital detox, right? Like, reduce your distractions by turning off your notifications on your phone. And even reduce your distractions by turning off the notifications on your computer, right? And what you want to do is you limit your access to your distractions, and also limit your access to your social media, especially during work hours, right? What you want to do is you want to create a work environment that is conducive to deep work. And so when you do this, you simply get more done in less time. That's what you want to do. And so I remember, like, man, when I was building my last high rise, I I had like email notifications come in right away. Like, as soon as you send an email, bam, it would pop up on my phone. It would bing, it would ping on my phone, and it would ping on my computer, because I was the lead project manager on that job, right? And so, like, I was doing this because I wanted to stay on top of things. And when issues came up, I wanted to make sure that I tackled them. And I was like, I'm gonna stay on top of everything. But what ended up happening is that I became a slave to my email, right? Like, the cell phone and the computer were constantly fighting for my attention, and I could never get any deep work. I could never have like deep focus without having some interruption, without something ringing, without me, like, like, I would literally start concentrating, bam, there comes an email. Like, because back then I would averaging at least 100 emails per day. Like, shit would stress me the fuck out. Then, like, I was like, bro, I was talking to my superiors. I was like, bro, I'm working like 12-hour days. Like, bro, I don't get it. I feel like overwhelmed. I'm not getting anything done. And they're like, so really start help me analyze my days. And then what am I doing with my time and this and that. And then finally we got to the email subject. And he was like, there it is. He's like, turn off your notifications. Like, you don't want to be a slave to your emails. Turn off your notifications. What you want to do is address your emails at 3 separate times throughout your day. Dress them in the morning, dress them in the midday, and then in the late afternoon. And everyone that knows that need your immediate attention, they'll fucking call you. Right? And then when I started doing that, bro, whew, man, I became more focused and I got so much more done in less time. And so now it's time for you to reflect on your day, my friend. Like, think about it. Think about where you're trying to do multiple things at once and see how you can switch from multitasking to single tasking. Like, doing this is going to help you be more efficient. By doing this, it's going to help you create fewer mistakes. And by doing this, it's going to help you do higher quality work over the long run with less time. Like, remember, it's all about eliminating distractions and focusing your attention on the task at hand. Where do you think the phrase, "excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, let me get your undivided attention," came from? Right? It's because divided attention makes you lose your focus. So in a world that praises the hustle, dare to be slow. Focus. And you're going to find that you're moving way faster. You're moving forward way fucking faster than you ever did before. It's not about doing more, but it's about doing better. Live wide open, one focused step at a time. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. Join me on this journey while we empower our people to do more and to be more. Bro, and by any chance you still haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and smash that button so you never miss another episode. If you connected with today's message, I'm asking you, do me a favor. Please share this on your story and make sure you tag me at Wide Open Randy, because those are the actions that help more gearheads to see and to hear about this podcast. And ultimately, those are the actions that help our community grow. I'll catch up with you on the next episode, but till then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.